Hey guys, another quick one-take review, and today I wanted to talk about the new Gayle EP, A Study of the Human Experience, Volume 1. A Study of the Human Experience, Volume 1 is the debut EP from Gayle, an indie pop artist, I suppose you can say indie pop, and she's mainly known for the song ABCDEFU, which is on this EP. That song got very popular on TikTok. That's how it got most of its popularity, and it's just kept growing ever since, and it is one of the most annoying songs I've heard in a while. I didn't like it the first time I heard it, and I dislike it even more now. And funny enough, this EP is no better, and in fact, it actually is probably a little bit worse. A Study of the Human Experience, Volume 1, is the definition of trying way, way too hard, but not even in the way that most albums or EPs try too hard. This is an EP that's trying so hard to be like Olivia Rodrigo or Billie Eilish for teenagers whose Discord girlfriend or boyfriend just broke up with them for faking a mental disorder that they don't actually have for TikTok clout. It's that kind of EP and album, but it's not even good enough to be that kind of like music. It's truly awful, and it rises a visceral sense of disgust within me. On the more critical side of things, besides the fact that this album and our EP annoys me to no end, the vocals are weak, the songwriting is pretty atrocious, and even the instrumentals are just not, they aren't even decent, they're actually pretty bad too. There's nothing redeeming about this EP. While I'm not really a huge fan of the aforementioned Olivia Rodrigo or Billie Eilish, I can say at least they have talent in terms of composition and songwriting and performance and just sort of personality, but this EP has none of that. This EP is just sort of a pathetic excuse to try and become what it is not, which is good as either of those musicians or the variety of other musicians that have heavily clicked with other sort of a more teenage audience. This entire record is just a depressing excuse of a just singer songwriter that isn't even really a songwriter. The writing is below average, and it's just really the definition of a copycat listen. It's just something that's been done a million times, and it's something that has obviously been recognized as being done millions of times. It's not like this is some artist Gayle bringing some obscure sound into the mainstream. It's already been in the mainstream for years and years now. It's just the same thing that you've heard dozens, hundreds, maybe even thousands of times before. The only reason I'm not giving this a lower score than I'm about to is because, as far as production goes, it's alright. It doesn't sound atrocious or anything, unlike quite literally everything else about the EP. Is the only saving grace about listening to this is the fact that it doesn't sound like absolute garbage, but don't worry, the rest of the EP makes up for that. But nonetheless, a study of the human experience, Volume 1, as an EP, managed to take my incredibly low expectations, which were basically at the bottom of a bottomless pit, and just smash them into a million pieces, and managed to be the worst EP that I've actually heard in quite some time. Rather than a study of the human experience, this is a study of how long I can sit through any of these 6 tracks of this sad boy, sad girl garbage before I manage to not turn it off. And let me tell you, it's difficult. This is not even 18 minutes long, and it's difficult to get through from front to back. I'll say that much. And for that reason, I have to give this a 1 out of 5, and I almost want to give it a half star out of 5, but it doesn't sound horrible. If you're ignoring, the songwriting, the performances, everything else that isn't the songwriting and performances, the lack of personality that it has, the fact that it's actually kind of annoying and is just sort of nothing but self-pity after self-pity, and unwarranted self-pity at that kind of feels very irrelevant. If you ignore all of that, yeah, it sounds alright, I guess, as far as production goes, I suppose, but there's really nothing redeeming about this EP, and well, maybe I would wish it on my worst enemy because I'm a spiteful person, but still, my point is, it is bad, and yeah, 1 star out of 5. And with that being said, that's the end of this quick review, which is not super quick, but it's still going under the quick review name. So, quick review, end of it. See you guys in the next one.